Hello, Earth Angel, and welcome to the Devotional Drip, a series where you are invited to explore and experience a deeper devotional relationship with your higher self across the altars of your personal and professional life. My name is Sarah. I'm a higher self embodiment doula, coach, and consultant for visionary entrepreneurs, change-making creatives, and heart-based leaders across the globe. It's an honor to serve you. This week, we have something so exciting happening in the Blood, Bone, and Honey Temple space. The temple gates are open for the signature Blood, Bone, and Honey private mentorship program, Emerge, for application and enrollment into the January 2022 cohort. So I'm going to link that below. The digital altar will be right there. You can click on it. You can go apply for the program, book your free clarity call. I'm only taking a small handful of high-level Earth Angels at this time. It is first come, first serve as far as the enrollment process goes. The temple gates won't be open for long, so if you want in, click that link today and go apply. And I look forward to connecting with you if it is in alignment for you and where you are on your journey at this time. Regardless, we also have something so delicious happening with the Devotional Drip this week. This is the second of 3 video drips that are going to be released over this next week, covering all things self-care, leadership, and committing to change. As I'm finding right now in this moment, leaders of light across the globe are being called into big time ascension, activation, expansion, visibility, and action. And if that's you, I have got some higher self embodiment hot tips and takes for you to support you on your journey as your resident higher self embodiment doula. So within this video, within the last video, and within the final video in this series that will be dripped out on Sunday, you'll get a taste of the deeper level content that we will be going into in the private mentorship program, Emerge. So if you're feeling moved and inspired or curious, consider that as a part of your self-qualification process into this program, because the Blood, Bone, and Honey private mentorship program is not for everyone, and that's okay, but it is who it is for. And if you're feeling the call like, oh, this is for me, trust that, trust your intuition, trust that inner call. So let's get into today's topic, which is transformational self-care and higher self-embodied leadership. If you have not watched the first video that's a part of this series, topical versus transformational self-care, go check that out. It'll be on my YouTube channel. It'll be on the Blood, Bone, and Honey blog. If you're a part of the newsletter coven, you should have received an email from me with that. So start there. We lay the foundation for this conversation around transformational self-care and higher self-embodied leadership. And then let yourself flow into this one. And then we're going to end with our video 3 on Sunday. So everyone take a breath. All the leaders in the coven, like maybe you have been serving people all day, all week, all year, and this is a moment where you are taking time to touch in and tune in with your own energy, with your own essence. So let's just start with a big multidimensional breath. Because as we know as leaders, when we are creators, when we are leaders, when we are visionaries, when we are willing to do big things, sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes things go awry. And this journey of leadership is so courageous. Self-trust is required for entry. There are so many times that I've had to trust myself in this private mentorship launch in moments where it felt quite literally excruciating, but I did it. And I am here to support you in doing the same. What is required to do the thing, to build self-trust, to build self-confidence, to embody our higher selves? Well, self-leadership and a transformational self-care practice that actually hits the spot. So today, like I said, we're talking self-care and higher self-embodied leadership, and the connection between both of those things, which I feel so deeply passionate about, and have been quite literally living the transmission of this, which is often how it goes with me and my work. Any other light workers out there who have that experience? I've been living the transmission on this. So I'm going to be teaching from this lived wisdom that I just moved through. So we're going to be we're going to go through 3 main points to consider when it comes to transformational self-care and higher self-embodied leadership. Wherever you cut yourself off from your own personal growth, you cut yourself off from your professional growth and impact as a leader, creator, visionary, and light worker. Let me say that again. Wherever you cut yourself off from your own personal growth, you cut yourself off from your professional growth and impact as a leader, as a creator, as a visionary, and as a light worker. What identities are you performing that you've outgrown? What identities are you performing that you've outgrown? Where are you trying to shove yourself into a position or expression or a way of doing and being things in your life and in your leadership that no longer resonates or fits? Self-care creates the pause and the program, the feedback loop disrupt in the trance of disempowering belief systems and stories that are creating static and density in your vibration, and therefore your actions, because your actions are an extension of your belief systems. Self-care creates the program disrupt so that you can sense and see and feel from the witness consciousness of your higher self where the fuck you actually are and what's actually there to be met. So it creates the pause, the pattern disrupt in the what sometimes feels like never ending spinning, spiraling, and cycling of disempowering belief systems and programs that you have inherited, that have been programmed into your being. And if they've been programmed into your being, you can reprogram them, and that is the good news. So self-care creates this program disrupt so that you can actually see, sense, and feel what's there to be met. And I'm not talking about topical self-care. Again, that's why I said watch the first video in the series if you haven't yet. I'm talking about the kind of self-care that transforms you, the kind of self-care that resources you in your capacity to recognize and break that next ceiling in consciousness, holding you back from becoming your future self. It's the kind of self-care that has you witnessing, honoring, tending to, caring for, transmuting, and integrating parts of yourself that have kept you in fear, confusion, and playing small around who it is that you actually are and what it is that you're actually here to do, which includes walking through the valley of your own shadow in order to embody more of your higher self light. As a leader, consider the parts of yourself that you feel like you can't or shouldn't bring to your mission and why. It's like me tripping over my words and being like, blah, 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 and releasing the energy instead of like pausing, stopping, re-recording. Oh, I have to be perfect. No, because maybe that little sound like shook out some seriousness energy or something that someone came to this video with, and it let them laugh, and that laughter opened them up. Like, we're not here to question, we're here to trust. We're here as leaders of light. We are here to walk in steadfast faith and trust, and that steadfast faith and trust is cultivated through our willingness to take care of ourselves and lead ourselves. So as a leader, consider the parts of yourself that you feel like you can't or shouldn't bring to your mission and why. What parts aren't appropriate, wouldn't be welcome, people would judge. Red flag. that those are programs that you need to look at that are blocking you from your power. The one who is saying you can't or shouldn't, the one within you, that inner punisher, that inner critic, that's the program. Get in there, be with that, transform that through your willingness, through your agency, through your sovereignty, through your power. So if you're ready for the next level of leadership and growth, know that it's going to start every time. And if you bypass it, you'll just come on right back, which is good because we don't want to miss out on this, right? So if you're ready for this next level of leadership and growth, know that it starts every time with you leading and growing within yourself first. Do not try to skip that part. Do not try to skip that part. The higher self embodiment prompt here that I want to invite you into, if you've got your journal, if you've got your notes in your phone, write it down. Where am I ready to grow? Where am I ready to grow? Consider yourself a plant in the garden of source. Where are you ready to grow? How are you ready to go? Where are you ready to come into the maturity of your blossom and bloom so that that can be harvested for medicine? When you learn, this is point two. So we're going to move on to point 2. When you learn how to lead yourself from a place of higher self-embodied compassion and presence, you can lead other people from that place as well. When you learn how to lead yourself from a place of higher self-embodied compassion and presence, you are able to be present with what is there. You do not bypass it. You do not skip it. You can then lead others from that place of embodiment and integration. Higher self-embodied leaders know that they belong to themselves first. They know that they can't pour from an empty cup. So self-care becomes a main part of their personal and professional strategy for showing up as their highest self. If you're addicted to external validation and permission, you're not leading yourself. You're letting yourself be led by things outside of your control. You can't control, nor should you. And if you want to, it's a surefire sign of codependency, the way that other people receive you. You can't control that. And often, as a leader, if you're a good leader, if you're a good coach, if you're a good facilitator, you're going to trigger people. And people are going to roll their eyes and have temper tantrums and have all kinds of feelings about what it is that you're saying because it's butting up against their programming. Maybe you're even experiencing that in what I'm sharing today in this video. It's all good. But as a leader, if you're addicted to that external validation and people accepting and really getting what you're doing, and you're not leading yourself, you're going to let yourself be led and dragged around by how other people are perceiving you, receiving you, projecting onto you, and you don't have any control over that. So you need to self-resource the capacity to self-validate and self-lead. That happens through self-care, because oftentimes you're going to have to self-validate the parts of you that you had to cut off or shove to the back in order to be safe and survive what happened in your life, perhaps even up to this point and up to this moment. You have to integrate those parts. You have to validate those parts. You have to validate your pain. Nobody else can validate your pain like you can validate your pain. When you actually validate your pain and your trauma and what it is that you have lived through, and you let yourself fucking sob your eyes out about that and be in practice about that, be in transformational self-care practice about that and around that and with that, it is from a place of understanding that you're able to grow self-compassion. You cannot have compassion for yourself without curiosity and without understanding. It is born from that place. So if this is a program you have, again, it's most likely rooted in codependency and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to reprogram it in your sovereignty if you so choose. to live your life in such a way, in such a vulnerably courageous, badass, earth angel kind of way. But you have to claim your agency and power and authority in order to actually do it. You have to want it. You have to seek it. You have to invest in it. You have to create space for it with everything in you. It won't just happen. You have to lead yourself. Where I am right now in my ministry and in my expression and in my journey of higher self-embodiment and in my journey of awakening and healing and becoming, which by the way is non-linear and has no destination or hierarchy. But the way that I got here was through actually saying yes. Over and over and over and over again, I said yes to the investments, to the healing spaces, to laying down on the floor when I wanted to disassociate and scroll through the internet. I said yes. So I'm saying this to not make it about me, but to just provide an example of the way that you're going to have to self-steward yourself through this journey. It requires your yes, and you have to want it. To practice leading and stewarding yourself, as one of my mentors says, is to leave no stone unturned, to not turn your back on yourself or abandon yourself. In the moments that your trauma shows up, you don't bypass it or try to override it or brush it under the rug like we talked about in the last video. You meet it as an invitation to claim more of your power, to meet yourself. It is an invitation. You go from using external validation as permission to higher self-validation as fuel to move you forward and do what you once wrote off as impossible, not for you, never gonna happen, so that you can take that awareness that you're actually ready for growth into the vulnerable, courageous, and sometimes downright confronting aligned action that creates the tangible shifts. Like my mentor Des Davis says, leave no stone unturned. This is a practice. From having walked through the valleys and climbed the mountains in consciousness of self-initiation into your own self-trust, into your own self-intimacy, into your own self-compassion, you show up as a more compassionate, present, higher self-embodied leader because you get it. You fucking get it. You've walked through it. You've done the work. There's nothing that could show up for you in your physical reality that you would not meet embodied with the resourcing of your higher self ready to fucking go. That's what a leader is. A leader self-initiates themselves. So here's some higher self affirmations to try, and you can write these down in your journal or in your phone. When I take care of myself, I transform my relationship with myself. When I take care of myself, I transform my relationship to my mission. When I take care of myself, I show up as an embodied leader. I'm going to say them one more time. When I take care of myself, I transform my relationship with myself. When I take care of myself, I transform my relationship to my mission. When I take care of myself, I show up as an embodied leader. This is the third point. The embodiment of your personal power becomes an invitation for other people to embody their power as well. You're like a fucking walking lighthouse. When someone is embodied in their power, it's magnetic. If you're drawn to me and my ministry, it's because you recognize the power in me that is also within you, and you want to activate that. It's as simple as that. There is nothing I'm embodying that you don't have within you. I'm just here in my embodiment to remind you, to spark that remembering that you have so much power within you. Being embodied in your power is not a performance of confidence. It's a willingness to be vulnerable, and therefore a willingness to be fucking courageous. As a leader, your embodiment becomes the invitation, not just how you show up when things are good, but how you show up when things are hard. You're not stuck in a pain story from the past. You're present in the potential of this moment right here, right now, and whatever is being asked to be met as an initiation even deeper into your power. You don't let confirmation or negativity bias or the ego or your trauma or the wounded expressions of the inner child or the inner teenager or your dysregulated nervous system drive the car. You as a witness, as your higher self, take back the steering wheel and the agency as many times as you need to, and you keep going. You heal your mind, you heal your body, you heal your heart, you heal your nervous system, you heal your trauma. You take back your power, you take the wheel, you recognize everything on your path as an initiation into your power. And it's not about bypassing and like looking on the bright side. It's not about that or having to be positive. It's about being devoted to the path of healing, awakening, and becoming. It's about the path of leadership. When you become a safe space for all of yourself to show up in whatever expression it happens to be that day, that morning, sometimes I land on the mat and I'm like, oh, wow. Or I land at the altar and I'm like, oh, girl, woo! But you invite all of them forward from a place of loving awareness. You are an embodiment of that spaciousness, of safety, of all parts are welcome. When you're that safe space for yourself, you become that spaciousness when interacting with other people, with your team, with your clients, with your mission, with your teachers, with your personal relationships. You lead by example of healthy, kind, loving, spacious relationship with your own being. And because you've cleaned up your own self-judgment and your own, maybe programming around self-control and self-censorship, you no longer are trying to judge, control, and censor other people. The moment you're trying to do that, you're trying to control other people or you feel the need to do it, that is your immediate invitation to turn your eyes inwards and look at your own self-judgment that's resonating as external self-judgment and need to control. You lead by example. You are the embodiment of progress and presence over perfection. Progress and presence as power over perfection, which for me, as a recovering people pleaser and fawn, that is some good ass news, which by the way, if you don't know, fight, flight, fawn, freeze, those are our sympathetic nervous system responses. And these are some things that we're going to be talking about in the mentorship program. It's too much to go into on this call, but since I mentioned fawn, I just wanted to put that on the altar. Because if you've been walking around and self-identifying as a people pleaser, totally used to do that, honey, that's your fawn trauma response. And there's a reason that that's happening, and you don't have to self-identify that way. And it doesn't have to be your identity if you don't want it to be. It is an invitation into the deeper levels of your power. So, higher self-embodiment movement prompt that I want to invite you into. So write this down, and then once this video completes, put on some music. Maybe you put on the Blood, Bone, and Honey November playlist, which is stacked with so many amazing songs. Here is your higher self-embodiment movement prompt to explore this. Where can I bring presence to activate deeper levels of my power? Where can I bring presence? Where can I bring higher self-awareness to activate deeper levels of my power? So when you're moving and using your breath, find where it feels stuck, bring breath, bring awareness, bring presence, and through your movement, express it out. This is not about how the movement looks. It's about the internal feeling tone of the movement. So close your eyes and let yourself have an experience. Again, the prompt is, where can I bring more presence, more higher self-embodied awareness in the form of loving awareness, loving presence to myself to activate deeper levels of my power? Enjoy yourself. I recommend at least 3 songs to really get into it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And write that down in your journal, pause, rewind, you got it. And if this conversation is really hitting the spot for you and you're looking for deeper levels of support, I invite you to click the link in my bio and apply for my private mentorship program, Emerge. Again, we're kicking off in January 2022. This is advanced personal development, multidimensional self-care, and trauma-informed awakening for visionary entrepreneurs, change-making creatives, and heart-based leaders meeting the call to embody their higher selves. And are just frankly not here to play around in this lifetime. Like, you're here to get it, make quantum leaps, jump timelines, get the fuck in your body, connect to your magic, power, and intuition at levels your human mind maybe didn't even know was possible. That's the journey we're going on. Very casual. Click the link below. Digital Altar is there with all the information about the program for you. It is such an honor to serve you. And I'll see you in the next drip, where we're talking making the commitment to change and the sacred art of devotion, which I'm hoping is going to really spark and inspire you to start thinking about, like, okay, the portal of this year is closing. We're opening up into next year. Like, what do I want to create for myself? If you're feeling any stagnancy or density right now, this is a great time to quite literally resource that density as a part of your activation and move through it as it moves you. We will talk more about that in the next video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a leader of light at this time on the planet. It is no small feat. I see you, I love you, I honor you in divine love and service to your highest good. I will see you in the next video. Many blessings until then.